Hi, I'm Dan, Family White TV, and today I'm going to be unboxing and testing the CyberPower CP1350PFCLCD Uninterruptible Power Supply. This is the 800 watt model, and I'm getting this in order to solve an issue I'm having with my home theater PC, where every once in a while it will reset, and the resets seem to either coincide with the scene with heavy bass because I have a powerful sub-amplifier, and also it has happened when the air conditioning is kicked on. I do have a uninterruptible power supply hooked up to it right now, but it doesn't seem to be working well with it, and it could be because of the power factor correction issue. But I'll be testing that. I'll show you what's going on with that, and then I'll hook this up, charge it, and we'll see if the problem goes away. And also, as an added bonus, I'll also show you an O-scope reading of what the output of this thing actually looks like. So let's get to it. I haven't opened this up yet, so we do. Got this from Amazon. Only took a couple days. I think the place I got it from, it was in Texas. I'm in Oklahoma, so got it here pretty quick. Seems to be in there pretty well, and that's good because this is a fairly hefty unit. So, as you'd expect, they would want to have some pretty hefty packaging. Thick styrofoam, and we have some cables here. Here's a coax cable, so if you have a cable coming in either from a satellite dish or from your cable company, this can hook into here because this does have cable connections. It actually has a phone line adapter, I suppose, if you want to have maybe DSN or something like that and not cable internet. And that'll be another for the collection of my big bag of wires. A USB adapter, and it's this square type here, so you can monitor it through the software. And then it has user's manual. Here's a software CD, and how many wonderful languages I wonder this comes in. Let's see, I see English, well, this actually appears to be only in English. Nice. I know some manuals I've gotten have like 27 different languages. It's a huge waste of paper. Okay, oh, there's something underneath here. This might be hooked into the unit itself, so let's put this up on end. That is hooked into the unit itself. And here is the unit. Let's see, let me set it up right. So, the plug here is one of those nice little, it's kind of a 45 degree / 90 degree angled so that it kind of gets out of the way of the outlet, which can be nice depending on your setup. And it has all the wonderful little plasticky, protect the shininess coating on here. And if you go to pretty much any website that sells this, this will show you what the back and everything looks like. But here's the back, and it's got 5 battery-backed outlets and 5 outlets that are only surge protected but not battery backed up. So stuff that doesn't really, you're not going to lose data if it's like your speakers and stuff like that. You can hook into these and lose power to that, but the stuff you need to be able to save your data and shut down the computer, like your monitor, your computer tower, maybe any external hard drives, plug them into this side, and ideally should be good to go. Oh, and one more plasticky. There. And there's a sticker on top. Important. This UPS is designed with a safety feature to prevent UPS from powering on during the shipment. Before you can turn on the UPS, you must connect the UPS power cord to an AC power outlet to charge the battery. The battery will charge whether the UPS is on or off. Charge the battery for at least 8 hours to ensure maximum battery power capacity. Looks like I won't be testing it today. You will not be able to start the UPS using battery power if the battery is not fully charged. And power on. So, alright, so it sounds like you have to have this plugged in to the wall for at least 8 hours to fully charge the battery. So, we'll do that and we'll see how it works. Okay, here I'll plug it in. We'll do an initial power, and actually, it says it comes discharged from the factory, and it beeps a little bit, so there's a tiny bit of charge in there, but not much. So let's plug this guy in. And the light lights up, and there's the display, and it shows it offline. Strange, it shows that the battery is fully charged. So it looks like the battery actually is fully charged from the factory here. It just had a feature where it wants to see some power output from the wall before it goes ahead and turns itself on. That way it doesn't, I guess, turn on and deeply discharge the battery while it's in the box. But we have some controls on here that I found out. So display, so right now it's showing the current input voltage. And here's what it's putting out, but I don't have anything plugged into it at the moment. And this shows your frequency it's going in, exactly 60 Hertz like it should be. This is how much watts is being drawn through it. This is how many voltamps is being drawn through it. And the percentage watts, I guess the percentage of its maximum capacity, I'm guessing. And percentage of voltamps. It says 100% charged. Estimated runtime, I guess at the current load, is 119 minutes. There's been no events, so, and they were back to the input. So if I unplug it, now it says it's on battery. I hear a fan has decided to go ahead and kick on, and it's beeping. You can probably hit silence alarm, and that'll. Looks like the time is ticking down rapidly, so maybe it wasn't quite fully charged at the factory, but we'll see. So I've silenced the alarm, so hopefully it shouldn't beep here at any moment. 86%, 85%, going down fast. And what's the control do here? Well, I guess it does something. Alright, so let's plug it back in. And it looks like there's a nice little bit of a delay before it goes ahead and returns to commercial power. So that's a nice thing, especially if you're in a thunderstorm or something like that and the lights are flickering a little bit. I mean, there's times when the power might come on momentarily and go back off, so it's nice that there's at least a little bit of a delay before it goes ahead and cycles back on. And it says that there's been one event. So that way, if you've been away, you can see how many times the power may have gone off or something like that. And I wonder if there's a way to, I'm just guessing here, but maybe if I hold the control button. Oh, well, that has moved it onto battery. So you hold the control button, it goes to battery. Maybe if I hold it again, it'll go back to commercial power. Okay. Maybe if I hold silence alarm, maybe that'll reset the events. No, that just makes it mute. Okay. We will undo the mute. Well, I'm guessing there's a way to reset the events, but I guess I'll have to actually go ahead and read the manual. This is my old UPS. I've had it for, I don't know how many, probably at least 5 or 6, maybe even 7 or more years, but I have replaced the battery just a few months ago. So we will see how this one's output looks when it is on battery power. Right now, here's our peak-to-peak voltage right now. It's about 340, maybe 360 volts. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, about 340 volts peak to peak right now, which is 120 volts when you do the RMS equation. But let's pull the plug on this and see what kind of output. Oh, and it's loaded with about 100 watts right now. So that is the new output waveform while it is on battery backup. The peak-to-peak voltage has actually gone up a bit. It's almost 400 volts peak-to-peak now, so it might be putting out a little bit more RMS voltage. I'll check that with the RMS meter. But this is what the waveform of a non-PFC power supply looks like. I mean, this is not a sine wave. This is, I guess they call it a modified square wave, but definitely a far cry from what's coming out of the wall, which is that. So here's the RMS voltage coming out of the old power supply. I'll pull the plug. And yeah, even though the peak to peak went up, the RMS voltage actually went down a bit. And we can see it creeping down there slowly. Now back on utility. Now I've got the new one here. It is loaded with about 380 watts-ish. It's bouncing up and down a little bit, but here's our utility power going out. It's about 340 volts peak to peak, which the RMS voltage is 120 volts there. I'm just showing you the oscope so you can see what the sine wave looks like. So let's unplug this from the utility power and see how the sine wave looks. Alright, we are now on battery backup power, and we can see in here, and this is what our waveform is looking like. And it actually looks pretty clean. And you can see a little bit of stair stepping, maybe a little bit of noise in there, but overall it looks really good. And I'll plug it back in here and we'll compare. Now back on utility, and the sine wave has cleaned itself up a bit, but still on battery backup power it's still a very good sine wave. And here's the RMS voltage out of the CyberPower unit on utility power. Hold the plug. And on battery backup power, it actually went up a little bit, and right now I don't have much of a load on it. Let's see here. About 100 watts out. Bouncing around a little bit. There's a computer booting up right here, so it'll fluctuate a little bit. But looks like it's holding pretty steady there. So here's the problem I'm having with my current uninterruptible power supply. Right now the PC's off, and I'm going to prove that the power supply is good, that it can hold the PC up, and to do that I'm actually going to cold boot it with the power supply on. So I've turned the power off to the unit, or I've actually I plugged it into a switched outlet and turned off the switch just for demonstration purposes, but to prove that the battery is good, that the UPS is good, I'm going to cold boot the computer, powered completely from the uninterruptible power supply here. It's the only thing that's plugged in, and we should see it start to come up here, which we do, or at least the screen went blank. Starting up Windows. And there's Windows. So it does start off of battery power, so the battery is good. I actually replaced the battery about a month ago. It's an old APC 500 power supply, but as we can see, it's enough to power the computer. So I'll turn the power back on here. And now I heard that it just clicked back on to the regular commercial power. So let's see how this behaves with some power bumps here. See if the computer resets or not. So far, I haven't gotten it to reset. So far it seems to be holding the load rather well. I did also have the projector plugged into it, but I don't want the projector in right now. But I'm sure it was enough to hold the load of both of those. The projector's had time to cool off, so I've plugged it into the UPS now. We are still on regular utility power. So that's coming on, so now we have a bit more of a load on the UPS what I normally had with the system going, and we'll see what happens now. But this problem did manifest itself before I put the UPS in there, but that could be possibly a load on the circuit or something that's causing issues. So alright, so now it's coming up. Now it's coming up. There's the window screen. I'll get it nice and focused. There. And there we go. The projector stayed on, but the computer reset itself. So maybe it could be that just my current UPS just isn't enough to hold up the projector and the computer at the same time, which I suppose could make sense. It's only a 500 VA one, so anyhow, the new one should easily correct for that, because it should, I believe, 800 watts. That's going to be more than enough, but we'll see what it says it draws once I get everything hooked up. A few days later, now that we've had time to charge up completely, I now have the home theater computer, the hard drives, and the projector all powered off of the battery backed side of the uninterruptible power supply, and it's drawing 340 watts right now. The AV receiver, however, and my subwoofer amplifier is not powered off the battery backed side. It's just powered off the surge protected side, because mainly the things that I don't want to have restart, if we have just a minor power bump, is the computer and the projector. The projectors you don't want to restart like that because of bulb issues, and you don't want to put undue stress on the bulb. So let's go ahead and unplug the power supply and see if the computer stays up or if it restarts. So there we are. We are now on battery backup power, and it says we have about 10 minutes remaining. The projector is still on. I've lost the movie that I have playing on the screen because the AV receiver is shut off. But now let's plug the power back in. And we'll see if we restarted. Now that the AV receiver has had a bit of time to go through its little startup routine, I see that the movie is still going, and so the computer did not restart. So this is enough to hold up the computer and the projector. So there we have it. And as a bonus, let's give it a stress test and see if it can hold up the AV receiver also.